Okay, so this is my other one. I'm going to mobilize invade, and what I was going to do is I'm trying to find my knight here. I was going to annex Wales. So I'm going to do that right now. And annex Wales, and then we're done. There. So we got an extra territory. I do not have to move my troop if I don't want to. Now, if you conquer a territory, you do have the option to pillage it. You still put a knight there, but you can take 2 gold from the bank, and then the area is under unrest. Of course, the AI never does that, but it's an option for you if you want to get some money. The unrest token is bad because it doesn't go away unless you move a troop there. So when you pillage something, you are not allowed to move a troop there. I mean, that would be silly. You pillage it and then you put a troop there to make the unrest go away. That would have to be another action from another time. But that's another thing for, we'll worry about that later. The next player is alarmed by your actions and immediately gets to mobilize 1 territory. So again, the AI is not impacted by this. So I hope you're starting to see, like, the AI is simple, but sometimes I think it's too simple. Like, I would have liked it if unrest and things really did impact them. I would have liked a little bit more smarts. But with that being said, the simplicity does make the game flow. So, all right, we're moving on. We're going to go to Italy and draw his action card. He's mobilizing and invading again. So I'm going to look at Italy's AI. This is the guy that wants to invade territory under the control of an opposing player. Or, see, the problem with him is he doesn't have a Casus Belli yet. He needs the intrigue card to get that. So he can't invade another player. You're just not allowed unless you have a Casus Belli. Pope won't allow it. So instead, what he's going to do is, rather than doing nothing, I'm going to once again just invade a territory. So we're going to take green and draw 2 tokens. And he succeeded on the first try. And we're going to invade, or we were invading, his other territory here, Sardinia. So this just goes back in the brown bag. This goes back into his character discard pile. All right. So he has no pact, so we skip this. So his turn is over. So see, by us making a decision for him, we actually helped him. Because if we would have just followed the rules strictly, he would have lost a pact. And he now has extra points. So we're moving on to France. France is going to try to crusade. So this is really risky. When you crusade, you have to pick a male in your dynasty. And so in his case, it has to be the king himself. If he fails to crusade, his king dies. And then he's going to have a succession crisis. As you can see, kind and cruel are the critical tokens on this. And so let's see what happens. This is blue. So I got to grab the blue bag. He needs just 1 success, so it's not a big deal. But he gets to draw 2. So let's see what happens. Here's the first one, gluttonous. That's a fail. Let's see what the next one's going to be. Oh my gosh, he failed. Holy cow, that's devastating. Look at his bag. The other 3 that were in there, they were all green. He had the worst possible draw. Okay, so he's going to have a succession. His king died. So what we do is we go over here and the king is dead. Philip the Amorous died. Don't put him in your thing because he's a special dynasty card. And the spouse dies with him because the spouse is not important unless the king is there. So the spouse just, disappears as a widow. Okay, so the problem is you have to do secession. And the secession rules are real easy. The sibling would be first, and then the child would be first. And you would choose sibling 1 is before sibling 2, child 1 is before 2 and 3. As you can see, there's nobody there. And this is what I was saying in the setup rules that was my criticism of this scenario. It is so easy to have this happen to you. And so if you're a human player, you lose half your gold. You would draw, and this is now the new king, Garnier. You get a random personality for him. And he gets humble, so that's going to go in his bag. All right, so he gets a new king, but the problem is he loses half of his territory, rounded up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's going to lose 3, and we're going to just make a judgment call. It's not going to be the one with the castle, so Paris is going to be safe. But I'm going to go ahead and roll for the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he has to lose 3 of them. So I rolled 5, so that one's out. I rolled a 3, so that one's out. And a 2, so that one's out. So France just lost 3 points. And of all the players, France needs strength more than anybody else. So this is devastating to him. And so the event for him requires a spouse, so nothing happens that would happen to himself. So the crusade failed for him, and that is bad, bad news for France. Okay, so before we move on, you have to draw cards. Every empty place always gets a card. And then you draw from the brown bag for their traits. Okay, that was quite bad. The AI does have a rule that they don't crusade on the first turn. Let me make sure that that's not the first round. That would change things. Oh no, that's not a rule at all. So I apologize. It just says that if it's the last turn, they skip all their cards and go to the crusade if they've not done a crusade yet. Okay, so France is still in the game, but they basically, this is my chief gripe with this scenario. They've basically been neutered. I mean, there's no chance for France to win this game. You know, they're down to 3 territories right out of the chute. It's really awful. But that's the secession crisis. That's what happens when you don't have a child. And we're all in that boat right now, by the way. So, okay, let's move on to Germany. They're going to build and develop. Okay, so build and develop for Germany is they want to build a castle. That's their top priority. They have unlimited money, so they're going to get to build it. So the only thing we have to do is check to see if they actually have to succeed. Yes, if successful, it costs you 3 gold. All right, so Germany does have to draw 2 tokens, and he does succeed. So he gets a castle, and the castle, by the way, requires an extra success to conquer territory. So there's really only 2 of them that are adjacent to anybody. Denmark is technically adjacent to us because we have a navy and we can go over the North Sea. But this one is adjacent to France, and so he'll put it there. And if you want to, you can just roll a die and randomly place it. But I'm going to try. I think that's the most strategic place for him to place one. Okay, so now Germany's event. And again, this is this war of mine thing. Your king is brokenhearted by a series of romantic affairs by his spouse. Add 1 age token. So that's not as bad as a divorce, I guess. So we grab an age token here and we put it on his king. Okay, last but not least is Spain. So they're going to mobilize or invade. As I said, the AI is always mobilized, so they're invading. So let's look at their invade rules. Annex an independent territory where the AI itself has a pact. Invade an independent territory which another player has a pact. Invade a territory under the control of the opposing dynasty with the fewest children, which is all of us. He can't invade any of us. So I think he's going to invade an independent territory. So we could have him invade his own, or try to go like into France. So I think we're going to just roll a die here because I don't know what the right strategy is. I mean, obviously, maybe taking this would be a nice, safe thing for him to do. But he does want to invade other people's stuff. So by taking this, he would then be able to. But I'm going to roll a die. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I rolled a 6. So he's going to try to take this one. All right, and so here's the first one. It's a fail. And the second one, also a fail. 2 lustfuls. Whew. All right, so he failed his invasion. I don't think anything bad happens to him if he fails the invasion, other than his turn is over and he didn't accomplish anything. Okay, so now death by childbirth. The spouse of the next player's king or ruling queen gives birth to a healthy child. By the way, the next player is me. But sadly, the mother dies during labor. The player draws a random character card for his culture and a random trait. The mother character is lost and the character card discarded. If I have the court physician, I can make a trait check. I don't have the court physician. I just have Navy. So Adelia is going to die. So I'm going to just put her at the bottom of my deck. Now we're going to grab the top card. And this is our child. And we have Robert the Brave. So he is going to go into our child 1 slot. Like that. And then what you do when you have a child is you still draw from the brown bag. We got to get a random trait. And it goes on him. It does not go in your bag. It'll go in our bag when he becomes king. And then this, of course, is difficult because that makes marriages harder. This is a fail if we draw that during a marriage attempt. But, so we are without a spouse. But we just ended the round because that was the last turn for this round. So, at the end of the round, what we do is we have to pay upkeep. The only player in this game that needs to pay upkeep is me. So I have 3 gold, as you can see here. So I'm going to grab 2 of them and basically pay to the bank, which I'm going to bring a lot closer because there's no need for it to be so far away. And so the 2 gold was for my 2 foot soldiers. Now, at this point in time, after paying the upkeep, I'm allowed to disband some of them because I may decide, you know what, I can't afford to keep 2. I don't know what to do, what the right thing to do is there. I'm going to go ahead and keep them for now. But, and this is a big but, I cannot lie, my other brothers might deny, if I fail to be able to pay my upkeep, what happens is they still leave, whichever ones you can't pay for leave, and then an unrest token shows up in their territory. And of course, unrest is 1 step away from being overthrown. Okay, so, all right. So at the end of the round, we did that upkeep phase, and then add 1 age token for your king. So there we go. So everybody is going to add an age token. So as you know, Germany had an age token already, so he's actually got 2 age tokens, but every other king gets 1 age on them. Okay, so now we keep going. We're on to round 2. You do not draw more cards. You still have your 8 cards, and we're gonna pick 2 more cards to play. We're running out of money, so we have to tax. So this one causes a complicated birth for the next player. This one causes us to lose 3 gold. So I'm gonna choose the one that causes the complicated birth. And right now we're gonna get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold with that. And I'm gonna also choose the invade first. And we're gonna invade an independent territory to get an extra territory because that increases our tax revenue by 1. So every little bit counts. So we're gonna go ahead and play those as our 2 cards. And just so you understand, this crusade has to be played before the 3rd round is over. So in the next round, this is one of my 2 cards I have to play. So I want to do something like this, but see, you have to spend extra gold, and I just don't have a lot. And here, my heir to the throne gets all kinds of nasty traits. So I don't like that one either. This one, I lose 3 gold, but if I'm getting 5, it may actually be a decent. Anyways, we'll worry about that next round. Okay, so I retain first player. The first player token gets moved if somebody were to successfully crusade. So France would have gotten it, but they didn't. So we're now at the dynasty phase again. We get to marry somebody. So I'm gonna look around and see, because I'm first. I need to quit I know the names are supposed to give away their gender, but I need the picture. Some of these European names don't make any sense to me. I mean, I know Augustine makes sense, but this is weird, like Denise. Is that Denise or Dennis? Melisende. And I guess that only a girl would have a name that long. Giselle, yeah, that makes sense. Geoffrey. Okay, so of the women available, I need a new spouse for my king. Otherwise, I would have married my child. That would have been nice too. And I could still do that. I could try to get Robert married. I pick whichever one I want. I can get a spouse for me or I can get a spouse for him. The advantage of a spouse for him is that if I die, he's going to inherit the throne and automatically everything's hunky-dory. But I'm going to get a spouse for me first because then there's a possibility to get more children. So what that means, though, is I'm either taking something on the board that has a negative trait, or I'm going to do the inbreeding thing. The inbreeding thing's not that bad of a deal because you get a random token from the bag and it might be a green one, right? But I think what I'm going to do, because it'll give me a chance to get a casus belli maybe, is I'm going to do a pact and I'm going to marry Giselle here. So I do get this rowdy token, and it is going to be added to my bag, which stinks. But that pact there, if somebody were to invade that territory, the Low Countries, I get an automatic casus belli, and that saves me an action. Because otherwise I have to spend an intrigue action just to create one. And so it'd be nice to be able to start attacking the AI here. Okay, moving around. And again, we have to go through every player. Italy there needs a spouse. So we got to definitely do them. They want strong, cruel, or sword master. So I'm going to look real quick. I don't see any strong, cruel, or sword master. If none are available, marry into the closest territory regardless of trait. So the closest territory that has a woman would be this one. So I'm going to put this in the green bag. And Hildegund is going to marry Mr. Italy here. Then Hungary has a pact with him. Okay, now we're moving to France. Remember, he had the secession crisis. He wants to marry honest and ambitious. Never marry a spouse with other red traits. Well, how on earth is he going to do that? There are no honest and ambitious out there. So which one trumps? It says never marry a spouse with other red traits, which is great. But let's say he does the inbreeding option. Oh, I know what he's going to do. Nope, he's not. There's not even a girl out there with a green trait. So his only option is to inbreed or marry somebody else's daughter, and nobody has a daughter. So this is a tough choice, because if I do the inbreed thing, it's just a random draw, and it could be a red trait, but let's do it. So we're going to draw the top card from his character. So he's going to get Lucienne. And then we're going to draw from the round bag. And this is where he could possibly get a red trait. But, and he does. And I don't think there's anything we can do about it. He's just, I think getting married is better than not getting married. So then we move to Germany, and there's nobody for him to marry. And same with Spain. They would need a child or something. Okay, so now we're moving on to the plotting phase. I already did this. I actually went ahead, right? I did it out of order. And so we go ahead and start the game, or start the round 2. So I'm going to mobilize invade, as you can see. I actually have several choices now. I could invade the Low Countries there, where I have a pact. It's an interesting option. But one thing I want to point out is, see this little line right there? The tiny little line that goes from France to Britain? That little line is the border between the North Sea Ocean and the Atlantic. So this particular unit can't invade by sea to there unless he was over here. So since he's here, we're going to invade by sea to Joffrey land and just take that territory. But I do need to succeed first. And I'm going to just draw 1 token, because I can't afford to be wasting more gold. So this could be bad for me, and it is. I failed. So I wasted my action, and there's nothing I can do about that. So Joffrey is safe. I guess that would have been the advantage of taking the Low Country, because I didn't have to succeed. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sick, dealing with a cold, and you're going to have to just forgive me for reneging there. But that was the smarter move. Because I can't afford to pay a gold to guarantee or to improve my chance for success. And I'm doing a tax action. So I need more territories in order for the tax action to be success, or to give me more money. So this is a no-brainer. I have to do this one. So yes, I'm reneging my turn, but I hope you don't mind. It was a smarter choice. Now, the harder choice here is, do I leave my infantry there or do I move it up? And I'm going to leave it there. I think you can move your infantry when you do a mobilize action, but that's not the case here. So yeah, I'm going to have to leave it be the way it is. Okay, so then Divine Inspiration is kicking in. The king of the next player immediately receives guidance. The next player may draw a new action card to his hand. It cannot be a tax card. I'm not going to bother, because I don't think, it's not a human player. So we're just going to leave it be. He's already got more cards than he's ever going to play. And I don't want to figure out anything there or reshuffle. Okay, so now we're going to do Italy. Italy is crusading. It has to be his king. And so here we go. We're going to draw 2 tokens. The first one is clever. He made it. The second one would have been bad, but he made it. No problem. So what Italy does then is Italy takes their little token here, and they put it on Constantinople. And they get this ignorant trait in their bag. It goes in their bag. Now, Constantinople is interesting. I know it's upside down for you, but he gets +1 Crusade card at the start of a new era. The AI ignores these texts, by the way. The AI doesn't do any of that, but we do. So if we would have taken Constantinople, we would have gotten +1 Crusade card at the start of a new era. That's in addition to our 8 cards that we normally draw. Okay? So if you pay attention to some of these are really good. Like this one, +1 tax card at the start of a new era, or +1 gold each time you do a tax. Like there's some decent ones in there. So those are bonuses you could potentially get. Now, the Black Plague here haunts Europe, but your territories are miraculously spared because of your actions in the Holy Land, the priests say. All players but you must place 1 plague token, outbreak side up, and 1 unrest token in 1 territory under their control. Any foot soldier in the territory is removed. Read more on page 21. Okay, we don't have to read more, but this is bad for us, not as bad for them. Just so you know, unrest is automatically quelled by a foot soldier, so the AI doesn't get the unrest token, but we do. All right, so the plague outbreak is removed when you do a tax action. So 1, 2, 3, we have 4 plague outbreak tokens. So where does Spain want to put it? I'm going to assume they would want to put it where it's not adjacent to as many other territories as possible of his own. So we're going to do it closer to the enemy. Same with Italy, right? Closest to the enemy. Who did this crusade? That was Italy, so never mind. Where would Germany do it? That would make sense for Germany. France would prefer there, and then we would actually prefer here. So, because when you remove the plague token, it spreads to all the adjacent territories. So you can see how we're trying to screw each other over. Okay, so then for me, I also get an unrest token in the lowlands. So, okay, that was Italy's turn. Now we move to France. France is going to build and develop. So their AI says they want to buy development cards unless he has 6 already. So he buys all 3, just so you know. Unless he already has them, he just buys everything. And because he doesn't care, as long as he has room for them, he buys them. And I'm assuming he does. So let's go over here and take a look. So he bought a library, which is an invention, a marshal, which is a counselor, and a bank, which is also an invention. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think he gets the achievement. Let me check. Given to the first player to have 4 development cards on his family board. Boy, he blew that out of the water. So he gets the inventor achievement. So that's a point at the end of the game for him. Out of all the players, he's probably the most suited to have it because he's sucking wind otherwise. Okay. Now the event. The Pope comes to visit the next player's royal court. If he has the pious trait or the Archbishop development card, he gains 1 gold. If not, he needs to make a trait check. If successful, he adds the pious trait to his trait bag. If he fails, he adds the godless trait. All right, well, the next one is black. So let's look at his traits. He does not have the pious trait. So he does not have the Archbishop either. So now we got to do a success check. So I'm shuffle. We're mixing the bag up. Here's the first one, a fail. Here's the next one. He passes. Okay, so he's going to get the pious ability. Okay, so where do you grab that from? Remember, these silver ones are the event ones. So there it is right on top. So he's going to get a pious added to his bag. I love the fact that they made this one silver and the other one's gold. It makes it real easy to sort them out at the end of the game. Well done to whoever came up with that idea. The designers did an excellent job there. Okay, so that's this one. Next we move to Italy. Or, I'm sorry, Spain. I keep saying Italy. They're going to mobilize or invade. And I'm already seeing this event and I'm crying. But Italy, they want to annex an independent territory where he has a pact, invade another player's pact, or dynasty with the fewest children. Well, he can't do any of that, so he's going to invade. We're going to roll a die again. 2, 4, 6. I rolled a 5. So he's going to try to invade that one up there again. So he's yellow. There's 1 and 2. So he does succeed with the attractive. Okay, so this goes away. Token goes back in the brown bag. Melisende goes over to the French side. And Spain expands into France. Like so. All right, so the king or spouse of the next player, us, gives birth, but the childbirth suffers complications. The player draws a random character card for the dynasty, and then the child gets a weak trait. If you have a physician development card and make a successful trek, you can get a random one instead. Well, that physician development thing has come up twice for me now, and I'm very sad about that, but nothing I can do. And so, yes, we have another child, but it's weak. So here's my child, Constance. She's child number 2. And then we come over here and we grab the weak trait from the event and put it on. So she gets that instead of a random from the bag. All right, that ends the first turn. So now we're gonna get ready to do turn 2. And I need to take a quick break. So thanks for watching. Stay awesome.